Awesome. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry for you guys. Sometimes corporate is not everybody's thing, but I recently learned that I should call myself an entrepreneur because I started 10 startups in health or pharma AI. And a lot of the cases I'm bringing today are the ones that I'm the most proud of in IBM, because we are not able to share a lot of cases right now. And considering, so I will do like a bit of a summary of everything you guys have probably learned in the last 2 days, and top it off with my favorite new topic, quantum computing, and where we're going in 2050. Exactly. So I'll give another use case also of one of my startups later. I hope the visual and stuff works, but let's see. All right, so as Elena already said, thank you so much for inviting me. So I'm client partner for all the hospital projects and pharma projects in the DACH region and Israel. I like taking Israel as an example because I've worked in 12 countries, and I think Israel is the absolute best of the best when it comes to hospital and AI. And then I have 2 other startups up here. So this is my startup, MedChamp. It's an education platform for young doctors to learn tech, because I'm starting to get annoyed that every time I do a pitch to doctors and hospitals that they don't understand the difference between machine learning and AI and Gen AI. So we've decided to build a platform for young doctors to learn early on in medical school. Then Mama Health is a Gen AI platform for chronic disease patients in 7 different indications, and I will show you later how that looks like. All right, so the next 30 minutes will be where do we stand today? So a bit of a summary of AI bias and perfect examples I will bring to you guys, both from the startup world and from the IBM world, and then the freaky future of technology. So you've probably already seen this chart somewhere. I think it came from McKinsey, so I'm just really transparent. It's not IBM slides, so this is just how I like to interpret everything we do within IBM. So I mean, AI hasn't been around for a very short period of time. It's been around since the 1970s. Then we started learning about machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, foundation models, large language models, and now we're getting into the exciting part, quantum computing. So 2023 for us at IBM was definitely a bit of a FOMO with clients. There was a lot of pilots that didn't work so well. A lot of people also know Watson, which I will explain later as well. It was extremely costly for clients. We really had to test and try out what actually works, especially as a corporate, because we have so many obstacles and legal regulations to think of, which startups don't. So the perfect examples that we had with IBM, where Gen AI is a perfect use case, is patient communication. So we built a lot of chatbots to help the pharma to connect to patients. Patients actually feel like somebody's listening to them for a change. Really implementing chatbots into the hospital setting so that doctors don't get called 24 hours for maybe simple questions that can easily be answered by a chatbot. And one of these chatbots we built is called the ISA for diabetes patients in the pharma industry. Then we found Gen AI works really well in precision medicine with our Watson X. You guys should also check out, because the Watson X is actually a free model you guys can also play with. And we have now the Granite 3.0, so there's multiple large language models out there, open source for you guys to play around with. All right, so responsible AI in hospitals. I'll be focusing all the time between hospitals and pharma. And where are we today? Today we're really using AI in treatment planning, patient monitoring, or at least we're trying to. And in 2050, where we want to go is enabling predictive analytics, really looking at the whole workflow of the hospital, getting more into personalized medication, multiple modalities of patients, and really looking at, okay, which pills don't actually work with another pill. So this is really what I'm trying to push also IBM, hopefully faster than 2050, to get into. Our responsibility is really ensuring AI is ethical, and we need every player in that. So what I keep pushing as a corporate, we don't have the answers for everything. We need startups. We need to really understand what is bias as doctors, as like scientists, and bring it all together to build trust and transparency. Responsible AI in pharma, from my perspective, looks a little bit more like this. So powering precision medicine. So AI-driven insights, revolutionizing companies with delivering tailor-made treatments, analyzing all of this crazy data that we have right now out there, especially after COVID, looking into really how can AI identify novel biomarkers, optimizing clinical trials, predicting individual patients' responses to specific pills. And yeah, we're doing this, for example, already with Moderna. Moderna and Boehringer Ingelheim are the first ones that signed with us on a biomarker antibody research, which you guys should really check out. It's super cool. And enhancing clinical workflows is one of the focus I have in my work every day, really looking at how do we automate repetitive tasks that nobody wants to do. A lot of doctors go into big pharma, they become MSLs, and then all they get to do is read research the whole day and upload with a fax into a really old system, medical research that's done by scientists and doctors. So it's crazy. Before we actually, so scientists research something, it takes 7 years for us to upload all of this research into a system, then make the right pills, get the legislation done before the patient even sees this innovation. So 7 years is just not possible anymore. So safeguarding privacy, robust data governance frameworks, which we're also doing with the BMG here in Germany. Preserving techniques are essential to ensure sensitive medical information. And yeah, the rest I'll do later. So this is how we as IBM build responsible AI. So we really look at ethical design first, aligning principles, developing, ensuring that there's a human value. We call this the human factor in our company, where we really also interview doctors, scientists. Does it even make sense what we're building? Because I have a feeling a lot of corporates are building, and nobody's actually using these tools. So and then there's transparency, providing clear explanation of how AI systems make decisions to build trust and accountability, and continuous monitoring, which we do in a model that's called the garage model, where we're constantly testing, making errors, building something individualized for every single customer. To then understand also like a bias for another hospital might be a very different bias in another hospital. So charting the path ahead, so the current state, today we see the initial deployment of AI in healthcare in early stage applications, such as medical imaging, drug discovery slowly. However, significant barriers around data integration, model interoperability, and regular compliance are still a really big problem for us, especially in Germany. Emerging innovation, so in the decade to come, we will witness the maturing of foundational AI technologies, enabling more advancement in use cases, especially in virtual nurses, which we see a lot now in Tokyo and Korea and a lot of other Asian countries. I don't know if you guys seen it, but it's really cool. So that the robots actually measure all of your values, temperature, if you're sweating, and all the things that nurses maybe don't have to do necessarily anymore. Precision diagnostics, automated treatment planning are some of the emerging technologies we're also seeing now in Israel. And number 3, transformative future. So where do we plan to go in this One Health context that IBM is building by 2050 is really embedding every facet in healthcare, from drug discovery to patient monitoring, understanding like how is our patient actually feeling at home. Every patient has a different needs. Maybe you don't have, siblings or people taking care of you, that we understand what's going on beyond the Whoop or Garmin or some other gadget that you might have that our older generation isn't using, that this data is also coming into our EPA, so the digital patient platform that we have here in Germany, that you get an e-prescription and have it all connected with each other. So building good AI for hospitals, from a corporate perspective, these are the 4 things we really want to focus on. So ethical principles, AI principles, I'm sure I don't have to go over it, you had it all today. Fairness, transparency, rigorous testing and validation in this garage model that we do, understanding really safety. What is safety for pharma? What is safety for hospitals? What is accurate data that we need? How do we get also medical devices and decision support tools all together and test and validate all the time? multidisciplinary collaboration, which is what we need you guys for, because you guys are the smart ones. We are just the corporates. And that we really understand, okay, how do we bring new technologies? IBM is a framework. We need innovative startup ideas, creatives, entrepreneurs who bring us more concepts that we can build things together. And I will show you a really cool case that we did with 16 other startups in neurology in a bit. Continuous monitoring and improvement, ongoing monitoring feedback loops. I'm sure you guys have heard of this before. All right, addressing bias in healthcare AI. So especially, this is German focus. I'm sure US has also different problems, but these are the three that we really identified in Germany. So the data bias. We saw this, for example, with the COVID vaccine. We were testing, for example, certain things only on men, and then we forgot to test certain products on women, and then there were adverse effects of the injection. So really looking at who do we all need when we're building something, algorithmic bias, and society bias, which is a really big pain point for me in Germany. German doctors don't like a change. They don't like technology. They prefer the fax machine. So really understanding, helping them understand which tool do they need, and we need startups again for this, that they have like very small use cases, and that doctors start understanding as a society, we need to change because we won't have proper healthcare in 20 years. It looks really bad for us here. So we need more tech tools in the daily business. AI innovation in healthcare, so again, automated diagnostics, remote patient monitoring, which is one of the biggest focus we have right now. Massimo, Philips, these type of companies are starting to work with us together to really understand what's going on at home. The patients that are right now at home are costing us too much money, too many resources, because they're still in the system of coming to the clinic when they're sick and when something is already way too advanced to even help them. So this is one of the big chunks that we're still, if there are startup ideas out there, please contact me, how to solve this problem, how to really grab these patients, bring AI tools to people's homes for us to deliver better care. Precision treatments, which is also, again, with quantum, operational efficiency, hospital workflows. I'm not going to bore you guys with this, it's really bad. All of the like documentation and everything. All right, so these are my three favorite cases. And the first two are from IBM, and then my own startup. So Validate is one of those awesome cases. So I come from a neurological background. Most of the projects I do are neurology-based. And what we built with Validate is funded by Horizon 2020. You guys can also look it up. And we did it with 3 different clinics and a lot of different startups. So we worked with Vallheilbronn in Barcelona, Jerusalem Hospital, and Heidelberg in Germany. The reason why we took these 3 hospitals is because all of the patient data was a complete mess in a different way. Because in Israel, for example, on Shabbat, patients don't even go to the clinic. So there was a lot of hurdles that we had to think about when training in clinical decision support systems, or a predictive stroke AI. What outlier patients can we take? And we thought, okay, Israel is an awesome one, because when nobody comes during Shabbat to a clinic and they come then 70 hours later, usually the patient might have passed away, or he has a lot of other side effects, or they don't even take the pills on Shabbat, which was also quite interesting realization that we had. In Barcelona, for example, in the hospital, it took the patients over 20 minutes to even get to a CT scan, and a stroke takes between like 1 minute and 20 minutes. So if you are 20 minutes really having an active seizure, we actually realized this is an outlier case that we need for this research. And so go check it out. Validate is the first predictive stroke AI that we built. And then we have, so this is more on the doctor side, because young doctors, especially for me, I think I made a lot of misdiagnoses with stroke, because there's so many different symptoms that patients can have, that this tool is something that I was always thinking of, I need this, because you see 30 patients a day, you make mistakes. You're tired, you have night shifts, you're not experienced enough, so when you have an app actually telling you this is a severe stroke, it just makes our life so much easier. Then we built an AI prevention app, but more on the patient side, with an AI tool and a wearable, where the patient could really feel more empowered at home. So once you had a stroke, that we tell them a little bit what lifestyle or when do you need to sleep, what do you need to eat, are there some sport things that you need to reconsider, how much alcohol can you drink, anything that would help you to feel a bit empowered in your diagnosis. And we built this with the Charité here in Berlin. Then Mama Health, as you see in the picture, so what we did is that we built a Gen AI bot in every single language that there is. And this idea kind of came because I speak a lot of languages, but I don't speak Russian and Arabic. And every second patient in Berlin is Russian or Arabic. So it was really hard to explain them what's next once they got a diagnosis. And then we decided, okay, we're going to build Mama Health because when you have a question, you go to Mama. Was kind of the idea, like, Mama, I have a really bad diagnosis. What do I do? So we did in Mystia Gravis and MS was one of the first cases that we had. So when an MS patient got the diagnosis, we built a bot for them to feel empowered, and it was kind of like a Tinder platform with people who have MS. So they could match each other, feel empowered in their disease, because we always realize when your partner is healthy and you have a diagnosis, you bring all of this burden into your relationship and into your private life. When you have another patient who has exactly the same that you have, you feel like, oh yeah, now I can finally have somebody who understands me, when I have a certain pain or I can't do something. And this information that we got through the chat bot then went into our big LLM, which I will show you next. So we had, like, on this side, a crazy spaghetti model of information of patients telling us stuff, from I feel horny from a pill, and we started looking at all of this information. It's like, wow, patients never told me they were horny when they got MS, but okay. So and all of this like cluster of information that we were starting to get from the whole patient journey of how long did it even take the patient to go to a neurologist to get the right diagnosis was also sometimes like 4 years. That's insane, like having 4 years symptoms and you absolutely have no idea what's going on with you. So we took this crazy spaghetti model, then we put it in a model that looks more like this, where we can really look at the most beaten paths, average time between events. So sometimes, like how long it took, for example, from the symptoms, you see 1,400 days it took from the first visit from a doctor to find the real diagnosis. This is scary information. The moment that we found this out, we're like, okay, what are we going to do with this? We need to go to pharma, because we need to make sure that pharma can communicate quicker or create the right pills for the right patients at the right time. Exactly. So here you can find, for example, in our LLM also, every time you want to do research, I'm now looking for 35-year-old males to 40 who have MS, who might be of a different background or who have also a cardiac disease. So you can really have the best real-world data information about every indication and the patients. All right, some inspirational cases. Microsoft is one of our partners, because people always think, like, why are you bringing the competition? But so one of the projects I really love from them is the inner eye. They really layered every single organ in perfect clarity. So when you get like a CT scan, you can just click on, I want to see the liver only and none of the other organs. So it's much easier to get to the right diagnosis. Then we have Watson X for clinical oncology, especially focused on oncology, where all of the research that we put into Watson X, into our LLM, we were able to save a lot of time for doctors also working remotely or in very small villages who don't have access to this type of research. Not everybody can work at the Charité or a renowned hospital. So we were able with Watson to give access of knowledge to doctors in rural areas of the most high-class treatment possibilities in oncology. So envisioning the world in 2050, this is obviously where I hope it's going to go. So integrated care, where we really have treatment, patient monitoring, everything to personalized medicine, genetic profiling. I did my genome in Israel in the longevity clinic, and it's just so cool because you can tweak and your lifestyle just becomes very different once you know what's actually going on with me. And robotic assistance, I will show you a case of a really cool robot for cancer. and predictive analytics, AI, forecasting outbreaks, needs of patient outcome, optimizing healthcare delivery. All right, then, of course, AG1 will lead to, or for example, the symbiotic human-AI collaboration. This is something that I'm working on a lot with IBM. This is also why it's IBMix, the experience design consultancy of IBM, where we really look at how do we intertwine tech with the human. That, because in Berlin, we always hear from doctors, oh no, they're gonna steal our jobs, AI. I'm like, what? I'm 14 years in AI. I never had the feeling that AI is going to steal my job when I was in the clinic. But so really having a better model around, and we're still working on that, so any insights from you guys is very much appreciated. Really looking at like how can we have this perfect interaction between tech and human. Ethical governance frameworks. Okay, that's my colleagues. I don't want to talk about this. All right, so this is one case that I really loved when I worked in Israel. They fixed kind of the problem of remote care, which we in DACH haven't really figured out how. So you see everywhere these little sticky notes. And for example, here you have then an AI that is the smart fridge AI, telling, for example, a blind patient a certain product is expired, please throw it away. And all of these little tech tools are connected with each other. So if he falls off the chair on the floor, he's immediately connected to the nurse. The nurse can then say, is it necessary that a doctor comes, yes or no? Again, time saving, money saving, and the doctor can actually focus on real patients, so to say. Then I thought the smart toilet is really cool, because I sometimes forget to flush the toilet, and I'm not yet dement. So, and when you have, for example, a dement patient, that once in a while the toilet just flushes by itself, and all of these tech tools are just connected together in your iPad. And I thought this was really awesome, just to see how they did it in Israel. All right, building trust. So at the moment, how I see it, what's going on, obviously we need transparency, collaboration, and continuous oversight. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people are thinking we're much more advanced in hospitals, and in fact, we're actually just at transparency. We're at 1, and that makes me quite sad, because we're still defining what works. People still don't trust it. They don't understand which tech tool actually supports their daily decision-making. And I really hope that maybe after next year we can finally have everybody has an understanding of AI, and we can slowly go into collaboration, which is what we've done now with the Validate project, where we're bringing all of these different players, hospitals and startups and scientists together to actually collaborate on a big disease or a problem. So this is, at least in my personal opinion, where we are right now at 1. All right, ethical bias in a better society. Just a summary of what you guys had probably the last 2 days. Just transparency, fairness, privacy, and oversight. I have to hurry up, I'm talking too much. All right, IBM Healthcare, where are we currently? So the Granite 3.0 is what I mentioned to you guys, the open source model. Precision diagnostic, personalized treatments is what we're working on a lot right now with novel biomarkers and antibody research, operational efficiency in hospitals, and ethical governance. Okay, I have to go quicker. Inspirational cases. So these are, because I come from neurology, we do a lot of AI tools for Parkinson's disease. Alzheimer, there's also another IBM that's working on a phone cover where you constantly have to move your face to open the phone. And because you're moving your muscles, they actually have proven that it's better for patients with Alzheimer to prolong the massive symptoms. Rare cancer treatment optimization is something that we're doing with the quantum computer. Clinical trial acceleration with rare disease is also our quantum center. So these are the use cases we have currently defined when it comes to quantum. I hope you guys all know what quantum is, but it's our supercomputer. So it's much more computing power than anything we've ever seen. And what we have identified with pharma companies right now is really focusing on only drug discovery and development, genomic analysis, protein folding in cancer biology, optimizing radiation therapy, predicting treatment responses, and accelerating biomarker discovery. Perfect. So beyond the quantum information, something that I thought was really inspirational, and I hope you guys are excited as I am, we might have hacked cancer. There's multiple companies already working on nanorobots that they have seen that cancer cells have a more acidic pH than normal cells. And then the bot sort of that you get injected inside of you goes to the specific microenvironment that has a different pH. So your normal pH is 7.5. Cancer cells around, I don't know, 5.1, 5.2 pH. And then it just attacks that one specific tumor cell and eradicates it. So I thought that was really cool. There's also a German company in Berlin working on this. And if you guys want to have more information, please contact me anytime. So that was it. Yes, I did it in 30 minutes. I hope you guys have some questions. And otherwise, I will be able to send you also some of the IBM research after this, after this session.